Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the State of Communication hosted by MessageBird and Facebook. Quick introduction. My name is Richard Dodds, the VP of Sales here at MessageBird. I've been with the company since literally the days of the garage, so I've had a lot of experience to share with you guys on how some of our customers have approached their communication strategies. We're also going to hear today from Gareth Bray, who leads the WhatsApp partnerships for EMEA, and has really been one of the great evangelists on bringing the WhatsApp for Business solution out into the market. We're then going to have some great sharing sessions from two of MessageBird customers. Kushal will be, who is the head of digital at Zalingo, is going to share with us how he's been able to use an omni-channel platform to drive a greater customer experience for his customers. And Ruby Wolf, who's the CEO at Aramex, will be sharing with us from a logistics standpoint how they've been able to use MessageBird and the channel of WhatsApp to really cope in the trying times of COVID and the great volumes. This is an interactive session, so we will have a Q&A. So if you guys want to scan this QR code now, or you can respond to the message that we sent earlier. We will try and answer all the questions, but given the time, we will have to prioritize some questions. So let's get into what the content is going to be for today. So I think if you're going to think about what is the state of communications, the best place to start is the output of communications, and that is customer experience. And I think what is a really interesting bit of data here from Gartner is that while 48% of companies think believe their CX efforts exceed management expectations, just 22% of those leaders know that those CX efforts only exceed their customers' expectations, right? And so what we look at here is this kind of mismatch where what a customer is expecting from a business is not being delivered. And I think what's really telling here is that actually, if you look at that stat, 52% of companies have kind of put their hand up and said, yes, this is very challenging. We are aware that we are not meeting our customers' expectations. And what we're going to do today is dive into some of the trends that we believe have caused that, and then have a look at some of the solutions and how you can really rectify that. In terms of that trend, I think the best place to start is with us, how we actually communicate, right? If you think about how we as people communicate with family and friends, there has been a constant evolution of this communication over the last 30 years. Right from landline calling, myself, I vividly remember sitting in the hallway of my family home, twiddling an actual phone cable, trying to get some privacy from my parents. Was the real start of this communication evolution. We then moved on to mobile phone calling and the emergence of SMS. What a powerful tool that's been. Moved into 2G and email with the emergence of the internet. If those of you remember your BlackBerries, love them or hate them, they really did change the world. And then again, 2005, this constant evolution of communication. Social networks came out and allowed us to move from a one-to-one communication into a one-to-many communication. And then smartphones came out just before 2010 to put the power of the internet in the palm of our hands. And that really has been the game changer. And I think that leads us to the emergence of instant messaging. And I think this for me was the pinnacle point in how we communicate with each other and that evolution. It's as if all the previous channels of communication, if you think about email and phone calling, were immediately replaced by this idea that we can have an asynchronous conversation anytime, anywhere with anyone we want. And humanity has voted with its feet to say, this is the way that we wish to communicate. If you think about even now, you're probably getting texts at the moment. You can have a look at that text. You can decide, what am I going to do with it? You can look at the groups that you're in. You can mute them. You can screen people. It is the perfect communication tool for us as people who have a very busy life. And I think what the point of this here is really to say from a communication perspective, and when analyzing what state we're in, it's important to note that the expectation of what can be of communication is also based on how we communicate with each other. And that has had rapid and constant innovation, which kind of leads me to I think what the problem is and why this has been such a challenging problem to solve for customers. So if we jump on to the next slide, B2C communication has not had that rapid and constant evolution, right? If you think about calls, SMS, and email, what a great impact they had in the 2000s, but there largely has not been any great innovation since then over the last 20 years. Now, mobile applications came out and I think have created a great level of, or a great platform to improve communications. But I think what we're seeing now is that businesses are really struggling for relevance within the mobile application. Most users are activating 10 to 12 apps on a regular basis. And if you're not one of those apps, it's very costly and it's very hard to maintain that consumer experience. So, I think that kind of leads us to why that problem exists, right? The traditional channels that most of communication or business to communication exists on today, calls and SMS and email, are largely handled in the same way that they have for the last 10 to 20 years. There hasn't been a lot of innovation there. And then recently, what's really exciting, I think, about this landscape is the emergence of this conversational commerce as an idea. It's the idea that we will, as businesses, be able to be where our customers are. If every one of our customers is used to communicating over instant messaging apps, this is the way that we need to communicate with our customers. And I think this this mismatch is really what leads us into, I think, at trying times, but also creates great opportunity for us as well. I call this the rage quit story. Everyone has one. I think if you watch some of the videos from MessageBird, Robert, our CEO, speaks avidly about some of the airlines or telcos that he speaks to. But the idea of your rage quit customer experience story is that sometimes you will be trying to do something with a business and it will be so painful that you completely quit and flip your table over. I mean, recently it happened to myself. I was trying to update my TV box and I had to call the customer support department, authenticate myself, only then to be transferred to the salesperson to complete the transaction, authenticate myself again, transferred back to the customer service team to book in an engineer to come out to my house, authenticate again. And the blindingly obvious thing to me through this process is actually there was 3 things that needed to happen in that process: authentication, payment, and access to a list picker or a date picker for me to book in time with an engineer. And in my mind, these simple things, my expectation of that should have been given to me instantly in a channel that I can choose, but it was given to me over this archaic methodology of sitting on hold and speaking to 3 different agents. And that to me is the mismatch, right? This idea where we as users have had we've largely been spoilt in our communication channels, but unfortunately that same level of great communication platforms has not been available to the B2C world. And I think if you think, why is that super important? I think CX, or customer experience, is the catalyst for disruption. And I'll lean on Uber. I know a lot of people do. It's a great customer of ours, but for also one of my favorite companies, especially if you think about the impact that on-demand has had on us as humans over this trying time of COVID. How great has it been to be able to order your groceries or food to your door? It really has been a great change in how we run our lives. But my point on Uber is actually, there was nothing really revolutionary about booking a taxi. If we stick to just Uber's transport side of things for now, we were able to pre-Uber walk onto a street, put our hand up and find a taxi. Or, most companies also had a phone booking toll-free number that you go through a process to book a taxi. Now, what Uber did, though, is it actually gave us that same process, that exact same process. They didn't create a brand new product. The product existed in itself, but they took that same process and they gave it to us on demand in 60 seconds and via a relevant channel. And I think that should be very telling to businesses, because if your expectation of great product service is not customer experience is not meeting what your customers actually expect from you, then there is this idea that no matter how good your product is, no matter how clean your taxi is, or how many you have on the road, if you're unable to solve the CX portion of your communication strategy, you are ripe for disruption. And I think that's where we as a company come in. MessageBird is built on the belief where there should be a world where communicating with a business should feel as natural as communicating with a friend, right? So for us, it is about closing that gap, the gap between what a customer expects because of our high expectations in how we engage with each other, and bringing that same idea into how businesses communicate. And over the last 10 years or so, we have brought a platform which really enables that. And I think it's not just about the new channels that are available about that. It's also about bringing innovation to the existing channels. If you think about SMS, voice, and email, there will always be a subset of your customers that need these channels for one reason or another. But it is about giving these products new life, bringing them into innovative APIs and solutions. On top of that, we have our channels, and really focusing on the channels that allow this great customer experience, and bringing them to you again in a set of tooling or APIs that allows you to adopt them and start to meet that challenge of closing the bridge between your customers' expectations and what you deliver. On top of that, we also have our tools and APIs, in particular our inbox omnichannel solution, our omnichannel widget that allows you the entry point on your websites for people to contact you on these channels. And then most importantly, the real differentiators for us, and we'll have a quick look at them at the end of this, Flow Builder and Campaign Builder that allow for the no-code orchestration of these conversations. It is about how do I bring these solutions or the solutions to my customers' problems into the market very quickly and without excessive developer resources or time. And then a big part of our additional platform is our integration strategy. We are aware that some companies have already invested in the structures that power their business, and it's about us making these solutions available to them from within those existing structures. So look, that's the introduction for me. So if we think about the state of communications, I think we are at an inflection point. We are now at the point where there is a significant gap between what our customers are expecting from us and what we as companies have been able to deliver in communication strategies. And a big part of leading this change has been the emergence of channels such as WhatsApp. And I'm going to hand over to Gareth, who's going to talk to you a little bit about WhatsApp's business solution and what you can expect from a feature set over the next little while. Thank you. Over to you, Gareth.
Thank you, Richard. So let me just share this. So hi, my name's Gareth Bray. I'm part of the partnerships team at WhatsApp, where I have the pleasure of working with partners such as MessageBird to enable businesses to use WhatsApp at scale. And today we're going to talk a little bit about why messaging matters and really pick up on a few of the topics Richard covered. We've done extensive internal research and collated external research on customer experience and why that matters. What then we can use WhatsApp for? What's the value of our business solution? And how do you get started with that solution? So these are unique and challenging times, and what we've seen as a result of the COVID pandemic is that really things like e-commerce and OTT messaging services are exploding in terms of their popularity. 94% of people have changed their behavior due to COVID-19. And actually, one of the biggest behavioral changes is that 76% of people are spending more time on their digital devices. And what does that mean in terms of customer experience? It means their expectations are higher than ever. They want access 24/7, and they want it on a device and on a platform that they prefer. And as a result, customer care challenges have changed. A customer is now 4 times more likely to switch to a competitor if their problem they're having is service-based. And they really expect convenience in all of their interactions with any business, from which they're procuring a product or service. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that it's also tough times economically. So it's not really practical to just put a load more agents in a customer service center or on a phone line. No one has that kind of money to spend at the moment. So it's about how do we increase that customer experience whilst decreasing our budgets. And then let's have a look at how businesses think they're doing on customer communication compared to what customers say. So nearly 7 in 10 businesses think they're communicating effectively with their customers. But if you ask the customers the same question, then only 2 in 10 would agree. And that really goes back to that gap that Richard was talking about in terms of expectations versus reality for the consumers. So customer engagement is really critical. 89% of people expect a brand to respond to them within 24 hours. 80% of people think that the service they receive is as critical as the goods or services they are buying from any particular company. And customers are really voting with their wallets. Over half of customers will switch brand because of poor service. So that means the expectations for a business has changed as well in terms of how they communicate with their customers. 61% of people would rather message a company than pick up a phone. And that is a seismic shift over the last few years. 59% of people would rather message a business than send an email. So in terms of the older school communications methods, we have a clear preference here. People want to use channels that they're familiar with and they use in their everyday life. So why is WhatsApp well placed to cater to that? Well, ultimately, it's about reach. It's about being where your customers are, and most of your customers will be on WhatsApp. We have 2 billion active users per month in over 180 countries. And as Richard was kind of alluding to earlier, app fatigue is a thing. We are one of those top 10 apps. 70% of our customers check WhatsApp daily. And of course, there's that whole channel preference. No waiting on hold. And I've experienced this myself. If you give me the choice of sitting on hold for a couple of hours going through multiple agents, or alternatively just pulling my phone out of my pocket at a time that's convenient to me and answering when I want to, then I'm going to pick the convenience every time. And customers seem to be picking that as well. So with our 2 billion users, we are now sending over 100 billion messages every day, by far and away the largest of any chat app. And we want to bring businesses and consumers along on this journey. We want to enable any person to discover, communicate, and transact with any business. And what we see is that people actually want to interact with businesses across the entire customer journey. So pre-purchase, people do want to ask about products or services that they might be interested in. And of course, if they've come into that channel, then that's a high intent customer. If possible, they want to actually keep the purchase within the same thread on the same platform. And then post-purchase, if they want to ask a question about that product, if they want to leave feedback about that product, again, they would rather do that in the same channel as it's more convenient for them. So how do you as a business get the most out of WhatsApp's business solutions? We are really investing heavily in 3 core attributes on our platform. Business presence, the ability to show up on WhatsApp. Discovery, the ability for your customers to find that channel. And communication. So once you're talking to them, how can we delight and excite with that experience? First thing to do is establish your presence on WhatsApp. So talk to MessageBird, they can help you get set up, and then you can have key business info right there in WhatsApp. Things like opening times, websites, everything that your customers will want and expect just at a glance. And then being able to enter into the conversation is a huge thing, and we want to make that as easy as possible. So we offer a number of entry points for consumers to contact a business. IVR deflection is huge. If you want to take the pressure off of a call center, then even within the IVR, you could offer press 3 to continue this conversation on WhatsApp. The customer is now no longer waiting on hold. They've got it in a channel they prefer, and you've deflected a call away from a very busy call center. QR codes have exploded in popularity, and this one has really even caught us by surprise. So we're seeing some really innovative uses of QR codes, things like logistics providers printing it on packages. So if a customer has an issue or something's turned up damaged, they can just scan the QR code and talk to somebody at that logistics provider. We've seen them printed on advertising. We've seen them printed in store. We've got a great one where a big makeup provider has printed it on every single standee in their retail stores. And then that actually takes you through to a service to get tips and hints on makeup. Just things like that that really up the customer engagement. Of course, you've got short links that you can place on websites, in apps, any kind of digital placement where you can tell a customer they have the option to go into this convenient channel. And we do offer paid entry points as well, such as Facebook and Instagram ads. So if a potential customer has seen something in Instagram they like, in Facebook they like, whether it's on the main page, whether it's in stories, they can, in one click, start a conversation with that business. And of course, again, those are really high intent customers because they've reached out to tell you that they're interested in your product or service. Primarily, communication over WhatsApp is done through 2 types of message. So the first type of message is customer care. Now, this is where a customer is reaching out to a business, and we make it free for you to communicate with that business within 24 hours of the customer reaching out. And the other type is notifications. So these are business initiated, and they must conform to certain templates, and they must be transactional in nature. So think scheduling an appointment, logistics updates, account updates. These cannot be promotional. Right now, we do not allow any sort of promotional messages on the platform, outside of some very limited pilots in some territories. And we are investing in richer formats for interactive messaging as well. So rich media allows you to send photos, logos, videos, PDFs. So if you're doing a transaction and it's an electronic ticket, you can send that over the thread. You can do boarding passes, things of that nature. And of course, we also have buttons within the platform as well. So there's a great example on screen there. If you want to send a notification that an order is shipped, why not add a very, very simple one-touch tracking button to that message? And finally, I do want to highlight another participant on this webinar today, Aramex, already an existing partner of ours, and they set up a customer services service on WhatsApp. The results have been fantastic. So 41% of all shipment inquiries are now processed by WhatsApp on that channel. That meant a 19 times decrease in incoming call volume after that service was launched. And they've now served 1 million customers through WhatsApp. And that really does play into what WhatsApp can offer. We want to reduce costs for you, make your call centers more efficient, but we also want to increase customer satisfaction. And we see this across the board. Not only is it more convenient and cheaper and easier, but actually we see CSAT scores, Net Promoter scores in the world-class range when you use WhatsApp, because people like it, they want it. They're already communicating with their friends and family over this platform. And now we can see this shift to where people are really happy talking to a business via the same medium. So that's an introduction to WhatsApp. Thank you very much for listening. I do encourage you to reach out to MessageBird to move things forward if you're interested in the platform. They're a great partner for us. And I'll hand you back to Richard.
Thanks, Gareth. And look, it is great to see this channel come into the mainstream. I really do think that the power of WhatsApp, and as your feature set grows, it's really going to change, change the game considerably. I would remind everyone, just also on the question side of things, please go to either WhatsApp or your reminders and log your questions there, and we'll get to them at the end. Okay, well, look, next up, we're going to give over to Kushal. He's got a great story to share about how they've been able to adopt an omni-channel approach to really close that gap on customer experience. Over to you, Kushal.
Sorry. So just a sanity check. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Is it okay now? Some problem with my screen.
Yeah, perfect. We can see it.
Okay, awesome. Cool. I think wonderful to hear from, I think, two of our important channels that we use, WhatsApp, of course, and like the bouquet of channels, which is like MessageBird. So let me quickly go into the slides. So just to give a quick background of the history, before even MessageBird and Zillingo started working together. So in the first few months of 2019, we were moving away from B2C business into B2B side of the business, and we quickly realized that the rules of B2C game that we had successfully mastered was not completely applicable in the B2B world. And so we had to change our mindset, we had to change our sales approach, and we had to change our messaging. And more importantly, from a digital marketing point of view, we had to make sure our MarTech stack was evolved, and that had to happen quickly. The B2C channels like email, app notifications were not fully applicable in this context. They were okay on B2C. They were wonderful on B2C, but on B2B, they were just okay. So we have to be where our buyers and suppliers were. And they were using text channels. They were making phone calls to do their businesses. So that was the problem statement. And hence, so naturally, I went looking out for a platform that could help me to get all these text channels into one single platform that will also have a capability of two-way communication. And it was not just about having multiple channels and let's load this platform with all the channels. It was about providing customers to start conversation from multiple touch points. Let's like the examples that Gareth was sharing, like click QR code for WhatsApp, click to action on an email, no more from a web page. It can be just a pamphlet, with a number, and the incoming message comes in, right? And also like paid social ads and many more. So we have tried a lot of incoming ways to start this conversation, and not just provide the channels of conversation. So now with MessageBird coming into a picture, now we are interacting with our customers using at least one of these channels. Most of the times it is more than one of these channels. And my team works with MessageBird on a regular basis to add more and more channels. There's no satisfaction here. Now an example of this, I think it's just happening as we speak. So we are going live next week with the chat widget on our website. So it's a live chat. It has WhatsApp, it has SMS, Line, and email. So when I showed this as a demo to my inside sales team, they were so happy with this feature. Today, they are using at least 3 different tools to talk to customers on these exact channels. And what I realized was my pitch to them was that, okay, hey, by using this single platform, we are going to centralize the data and all that. But what I realized from the team was that it is more about efficiency. We are building efficiencies for the team. And more importantly, it is about general happiness, right? That now I don't have to work on 10 different platforms, and it's just one thing that gives me everything that I want. And I think that's what it is. It's not about all the quantitative stuff. It is about those softer aspects here. So and just going quickly back to the past. So during the platform evaluation, MessageBird has presented their like standard package with like 5 flows and all that. So I had asked them that, okay, hey, can we build like more flows on this platform? And they said okay, and I think I don't know if they're regretting it now. So we have built like 400 flow builder automation spanning across like 5 channels across the globe, and the platform works, by the way. So it's still like working seamlessly. I think it can handle maybe 1,000 more. So now the platform is used by our sales team, our marketing team, the product development team, and it serves like different use cases. So it's not just a marketing tool anymore for us. And we have integrated our CRM, our backend data warehouse, our marketing automation platform to this. And the two-way chats when they begin, so they do like certain level of qualification, and then a human takes over post qualification. And we have Toki, the voice platform, which integrates seamlessly with our HubSpot sales funnel also. So that way, I think it has become like a very integral solution for the way we are operating from a communication technology standpoint. And not just that, like we are able to add new CTAs to our paid ads campaign. Like one of the challenges that we had was like somebody clicks on that and they go on the website like in a B2C style, but the conversation was not moving forward because in B2B they wanted to have that chat with us and they wanted to know more about the product, they wanted to negotiate and all that. So with this send message and click to WhatsApp CTA, we were able to push the leads into WhatsApp, have that conversation, and once they are qualified enough, they move to our CRM platform, where now the sales team takes over. They talk to them over Toki, and the call is done there. And once they reach a certain stage in the sales cycle, again an auto trigger goes to MessageBird and communication happens there. So it's like a seamless like circle that we have built, and it just like runs like a well-oiled machine now. So finally, my goal of having that marketing automation stack that is like truly multi-channel, truly conversational and impactful, I think I'm there now. But this is just the beginning. But it's good to know that we have the support of MessageBird in making this happen. Over to you, Richard.
Thanks, Kushal. Awesome. Really nice plug there for MessageBird. Really appreciate it as well. And I think, look, I mean, I know the one thing that we see with Zelingo is, you guys are really changing the world, and your growth has been staggering, and being across these channels, I think has been a vital part of that. The ability to acquire enough of your B2B customers to serve your B2C consumers is a problem that a lot of our customers face. And it's great to see that the omnichannel approach works in there. Okay, thanks again, Kushal. All right, so we're going to keep jumping here. We seem to be doing okay on time, which is surprising. Over to you, Ruby, the COO of Aramax, to talk through that use case.
Awesome. Thank you, Richard. Let me just get my screen up for you. So just a sanity check there, Richard. All good?
Yeah, we've got you.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, so hello, everybody, and thank you for joining. So yes, I'm the COO for Aramax across Australia and New Zealand. And I thought I'd just share a bit of our story with you guys today on MessageBird. So I'll try to stay away from the stats and the facts and make it a little bit more exciting. So this is Nick, and Nick's awesome. And every single business out there has a superhero just like Nick. And they're just these wonderful humans, whether he or she is at a call center or they're in the office or they're in sales. They're just those people that want to help and really make a difference in the world and in our businesses. But in reality, for people like Nick, they don't really feel like superheroes. They've got to handle phone calls, texts, emails, mobile calls, now Teams calls, Zoom calls, Google Meet. People will walk up to their desk. It's just never ending for them, and it's a repetitive task after repetitive task. And because of this high stress, we end up losing these superheroes in our business, these wonderful people that really want to make such a difference. And just because that workload and that information overload hits them all day and every single day. So we had to find a solution, especially in 2020, and we had to find a solution really, really quickly. So if any of your idea generators or problem solvers, creatives, designers, or process engineers, you'll know that there are a lot of roadblocks out there to make change fast in your business. And over the next few years, the way in which we work and the speed at which we work is actually going to start to increase. And we believe it'll probably change far beyond our imagination. And we're really at the dawn of that change and at the dawn of that speed of change. Just like most organizations, we're going to have to continue to adapt at pace, and especially in 2020, we've had to adapt at an incredible pace. So I'm going to try and explain to you how and why we partnered with MessageBird and how they've become a real key component of our longer term strategy. And that's really transforming our organization to becoming a more human-centric organization. So there's been 4 different eras or historical eras. The first one was the hunter-gatherer age, and that lasted several million years. We then moved across to the agricultural age, which was several thousand years, sorry. The industrial age, which was a couple of hundred years. And then we moved over to the information age, which was just a few decades. Hello 2020, and it said, dear human, let's change the way you do business in just a few months, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to. And being in the logistics industry, and specifically in e-commerce and a delivery partner for big businesses, we've seen a spark of our delivery volumes anywhere between 40 and 70% in some regions, and even greater than that in other regions. And we had to scale in a matter of weeks and months in some cases, with our delivery fleets, with our call centers, salespeople supporting customers, and finding people you can't turn humans on and off like a light switch. And it was even more difficult during the lockdown because you just couldn't have everyone coming into workplaces. So rather than scaling up with the resources, we started to embrace this change of the augmented age, an era where we can work with machines a little bit closer. And this allows us to be a lot more efficient and to give our customers and our staff a far better experience every single day. And even though we're at the beginning of this journey, we're at least out of the start blocks, and we're going to continue to embrace this era and start to move faster with it. And with this increase in the volume, we actually saw a decrease in our telephone calls. So 40%, 70% increase in delivery volume and a decrease in telephone calls because of the chatbot, human chat, and then the chatbots handling some of those inquiries for us. We also saw that we managed to handle 2.7 chats for every single telephone call. So that increased our productivity by almost 3x. And that excludes the work that the chatbot was doing for us. And with Flow Builder, we were really able to create these automated experiences in a couple of days and drive these instant responses and iterations with our customers over a short period of time. We managed to run some training sessions with certain call centers and regions, which last around 90 minutes on how to use Inbox, and off we went. And we don't really hear from them other than sort of a call center agents sending our team a thumbs up saying, you've changed our lives, you're making us feel better about coming to work and handling this high pressure. And as Richard mentioned a bit earlier, and Gareth as well, choice is really important. And with the world now, we have 61% of the total population using mobile devices. So it's actually more important than ever for us to offer our customers choice and more choice of platform of how they want to communicate with us. And that was really a key decision for us when we decided to partner with MessageBird, because they're a true omni-channel communication platform across WhatsApp, Messenger, Google, and WeChat. And this all flows back into Inbox, allowing us to give our customers a real world-class communication experience. They've helped us merge our people and machines to serve our customers with these improved service levels and these really fast response times, which has helped us retain our customers over this period. And with this incredible growth in delivery volume and an increase in this productivity through chats, we've seen a reduction in these calls more and more customers adopting this. And probably one of the most important things for us is our staff are feeling a lot happier. We've managed to retain our staff in the stressful period, in this change period. And the bots are handling the repetitive tasks, which is allowing our staff to think more. They're spending more time with customers. They're being more empathetic. They're solving problems, just being more human. And more importantly, they're being superheroes. So I think moving into this world of being an omni-channel partner, communicating across multi-platforms really is starting to change our business and the way we shift and communicate with our customers. So yeah, thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Ruben. I think, look, it's a great point. I think the one thing about asynchronous messaging as a communication tool is that it brings the ability to automate into reality. I think we've all seen and probably all experienced the terrible IVR situation where someone is trying to automate a process over voice, or similarly trying to do the same thing over email. The great thing about doing this over text is with the progression in things like NLP and advancements in AI, it is actually very feasible to solve a lot of your customers' problems. So a lot of what our customers are doing, and I know it's something you guys have done very well, is start to look at those repetitive processes from your staff, the ones that are tearing their hair out, and start to build, simple automation. A lot of the time it's, I'd like to reschedule my package, or I'd like to change my address, things that are very simple, but someone has had to manually do for, what feels like hundreds of years. But it's really great to see you on that journey as well. Okay, well, look, what we're going to jump into quickly now is what that looks like as a solution. So I'm going to pass over to George, who's our head of solutions engineering, to give you an actual live demo of what this world looks like, this idea of bridging what a customer's expectation is and what you as a business can deliver. What does that actually look like in real life? So thanks, and over to you, George.
Thanks, Richard. Hey, everyone. My name is George. I lead the fantastic solutions engineering team at MessageBird. So today, just to finish off everyone's notes and presentations, I'm actually going to go through a really quick demo. And this is a live demo which you can actually implement on our platform already on WhatsApp. Right? So look, a user experience which is concise and, more importantly, fulfills the requirements of customers is crucial. And so how do we do that, right? So with the disruptive times that we're going through, users are much more attuned to the social media, right? So especially WhatsApp. And with MessageBird, as a business to your consumers, or as a business to other businesses, you can offer the exact experience of being able to solve their issues or handle inquiries through the platform, through the WhatsApp platform directly, right? So in this example, I'm a customer and I would like to, say, track my package or find something about my package. And Gareth talking about QR codes and barcodes before, the real power of that is not only engaging in the conversation, but within the conversation itself, being able to have the user input something without them having to type in a long serial code or a number, which is very, very time consuming, right? So in this case, I'm a consumer and I would like to find out a little bit more about my package. So as you can see here, I've sent through an image, and this image itself is actually a box with a QR code on it, right? So I haven't actually scanned anything. I've sent it in, and what it's done is during the actual conversation, so the sending and receiving one message, Flow Builder has decoded this, and it's able to already decipher exactly what the consumer is looking for. And the second step is to authenticate your customers. And the way we're doing this is through SMS. So via SMS, we're able to send that unique OTP code. And what the user simply has to do is they go to the SMS if they're registered phone number, and then they click the link, which will send that OTP directly into the chat itself. And so that's already fulfilled the authentication process for the user, right? And you're not only limited to SMS, you can, once you retrieve the user information in the background, send this to the email address, right? So it's the same process. They click on the link and they're fed back into the chat without having to authenticate any other way. So in this case, I can see, okay, so my package is in transit. I expect delivery today, right? And if I, as a consumer, I would like to take a look at some other options which may be available to me. So in this case, I can reschedule delivery, change a location, or chat with the support team. And look, all the while, being able to do it really, really easily with just one click, right? So if I want to reschedule this, I don't actually have to type in the exact date all the time, right? The beauty of this is with our name entity recognition, you can simply type in something like, okay, so say next week, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Right? And what that does is between the messages, this will flow back into Flow Builder, and Flow Builder will recognize that, okay, so this is a time category, and it will actually extract that. So now it feeds it back to the customer, and the customer now has to confirm whether or not that is correct. And in this case, if it is correct, then Flow Builder will get that confirmation, and that data will be sent to the API endpoint of the business. And it's very agnostic. You can authenticate in many different ways: token, API keys, open authentication, right? So let's go back to the menu. Let's try another option here. So say if I wanted to change the location of a drop-off, which is quite common. In this case as well, if I wasn't to adapt that, wanting to type in my entire address, maybe let's do this. So just go. So something like that, right? I mean, no longer is it a form. You have to fill out the street address, the number, postcode, country code, whatever, right? The beauty of this is whatever the user types in, the algorithm will actually engage the appropriate API to send back what it believes is the most accurate address. And if this is correct in this case, then again, you will be sent back into the team or into the CRM, and the CRM will register that. So no human touch required. Right? And the one last thing I wanted to show you guys is all this automation is great, but if the user wanted to speak with someone from the support team, how can that be done, right? Easily through the logic of Flow Builder, we can simply push that through to an agent. In this case, there's a simple capture here. So you can use that to make sure that it is a human that you're speaking to. In this case, you can send your inquiry through right away, right? So maybe missing an item from my package. And also, you're not limited to text. You can send in rich media, you can send in files, audio, you can even specify your location given the circumstances. And that ticket will actually land in our platform, which is called Inbox. So Inbox is a CS tool, which is for all CS agents. They can, with like one business WhatsApp account, WhatsApp channel, your entire CS agents can have direct access to your customers. If you get 100 customers coming in to send in their inquiry, then your CS team will be able to handle all 100 on that one channel, right? In this case, you can see that the entire conversation is available here, right? If I did send in some rich media, it's also available, as you can see. The agents are free to send back rich media as well. They can attach media, they can do shortcuts, add notes. And if it's outside of 24 hours, then you can do HSM messages, so template messages for WhatsApp. Yeah. And yeah, I think the one last thing I wanted to show you guys was Flow Builder, right? So the logistics and the actual logic behind all of this is done on Flow Builder. So Flow Builder is a drag and drop tool. It's a low code, no code solution, right? So it really caters to the people that understand the journey for customers. So it allows the business, the CX team to go in and augment the actual journey, test it out, and then publish it right away for use. And another powerful tool is We have heat maps where you can actually see whether users have defined their preferences inside the journey itself. So in this case, the users started the conversation on a WhatsApp channel. They've selected to send in an image. That image is analyzed, whether that's a QR code or barcode, and then the actual journey continues, right? So everything is a step. I mean, you can choose to integrate into different systems, or you can choose to have a very personalized conversation, right? Whether that's authentication and whatever suits the personalization needs of your consumer. You can build it here. You can test it quickly. It's reliable. It's scalable. Yeah, and so it's just a very beautiful tool. So I'll leave it there, Richard. If if there's anything else you guys want to see, feel free, reach out, ask the questions. I'll leave the Q&A slide over here so you guys can scan. And yeah.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, George. Great to see it in action there as well. And look, I think the great thing about also what Rudy touched on is a lot of the time when people come to MessageBird, say, hey, I need to solve this problem by activating a channel like WhatsApp or going omni-channel. It's typically an immediate need. And the great thing about MessageBird, yes, we do have our APIs that if you want to build this as a fully integrated solution into your stack, you can do it. But we do also have the software that allows you to get going very quickly. We have some customers who can set up their WhatsApp channel and their automation flows in a few hours and have it live, right? So that ability in an immediate time to deflect is there. Okay, cool. Well, look, I think we're bang on time. So let me jump into some of the questions that have been sent over through the QR code. Keep them coming in. I think there's a few questions here for you, Gareth. On the feature set side, a lot of people asking about how people can acquire customers on WhatsApp if there are some restrictions on promotional. Just a quick question on how you're doing that.
So we really view the value of the platform in terms of what our partners are delivering on it with solutions. So you've just seen the flow builder there, and that's really where we see the primary value. It's in those customer services use cases rather than, say, customer acquisition. However, I would go back to the entry points and point out that if you're giving your customers easy ways to contact your business, then that's a good route for customer acquisition. And if they've scanned a QR code, if they've taken the time to get their device out of their pocket, scan that code and initiated a conversation, then the good thing about that is it's a high intent customer. So I would say entry points are the primary way, but a lot of the value is actually in the solutions rather than customer acquisition.
Great, thanks. And look, I think we mirror that as well. I think a lot of our customers, can use other channels to acquire customers. So a lot of what might happen, as Kushal said, is that they will put an invite for WhatsApp at the end of an email, or put an invite for WhatsApp conversation on their digital adverts to basically create a higher click-through rate or a higher conversion from their traditional marketing tools as well. Okay, let's keep going through. A couple of questions for George on the demo. Can a solution like this, can a solution and user experience like this be replicated across different channels?
Yes, absolutely. So with our Flow Builder solution, you're not limited to just one or two channels. Whatever your business acquires and would like to advertise and allow that customer journeys beyond, then you can certainly do that.
Great. I could probably ask this one. I might give it to Ruby. Is there any justification or financial justification to go through this to justify the investment on this, especially around the cost savings?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're getting 3 times more productivity versus taking telephone calls. You've also reduced your response time to customers. And again, you're just enhancing that customer experience through and through. Great.
Again, for you, Ruby, how long would it take you to set up a solution like this?
We probably turned it around in under 2 weeks, I think, George. George was super helpful for us, but we got our first POC in under 2 weeks, I think, maybe less.
Yeah. So 2 weeks is definitely a realistic timeline. As long as we have all the endpoints in place, you're looking at probably even less. So look, the most time-consuming part of this is the actual journey and understanding your customers, and that's where we like to be.
Okay, thanks. One for you, George. I see it's more of an. I see if someone types in perfect answers on Flow Builder, I can see it can respond. So what happens when people use slang or make typos?
Yeah, so that's actually pretty easy. Inside Flow Builder, you have a couple of different options, right? So you have the traditional give me a menu, reply 1, 2, 3, 4, or you have the more intent-based AI machine learning. And we actually offer all of those as steps. So if you didn't want to actually accept traditional answers, or there may be slang, you actually have the ability to create a database, which is then pushed into our algorithms. And so what that means is any customer which sends in a response that is close to what you're looking for, which is probable, over 60%, say, it is then captured as that probable response, and the flow continues. So whether it's slang, different languages, we can cater for all of that.
Okay, thanks. How do you manage channel preference of your customers and uniquely identify them? I think this is one of the real challenges of for when we launched our omnichannel platform back in 2016, is that how is it that you determine if a customer is sending you emails, sending you WhatsApp and phone calls, what is the most relevant channel to reach out to them or engage with them? The logic that we allow our customers to do is to dictate that channel themselves, or using our Conversations API, we will automatically defer back to the last channel that customer engaged on, right? So it really allows for that streamline of communication, and also allows a customer to almost dictate the channel that they want. If you reached out over email and then they came back in via Facebook Messenger, the next engagement is going to go back out via Facebook Messenger. And then from a contact perspective, we also, within our Contacts API product, we allow you to store all the variables of a customer's channel. Now, for telco channels, voice and SMS, that's easy. And WhatsApp, where the number is the identifier, that is very easy. But what you then start to do is also build a profile for your customer. What is their Facebook Messenger? What is their Google Business Messaging, right? So then allows you to really build that customer profile of channel contact. Okay, let's keep going. I think we can get through a few more. Is there a minimum, again on cost, is there a minimum interactions for MessageBird to be effective from an investment point of view? I think, no, there's not. I think one of the great things with MessageBird is we also are a CPaaS company and a transaction-based company. We do have very low access entry plans that allow you to then just pay per usage. And most of our customers come in on one of these plans and then really start to scale up their usage and look to set up their enterprise plans on that as well. Okay, I think a few more questions. Let me see if there's any in the chat here. A few more have come in. Can you move customers across channels to reduce the cost of acquisition? Yes, you are able to then choose, in the Conversations API, which channel is to be used. So if you have a preference over a paid channel to move to a free channel, that can be used. And a lot of our customers are using that to bring down the cost of their communications. If you can imagine, if you've been sending SMS to customers, which has a charge in and out sometimes, but definitely out every time you send a message they pay, but you move that conversation over to WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, where a user-initiated session is free, that can be a very effective way to manage your cost as well. Yeah, okay, look, I think there's quite a few more questions coming in, but look, we've run out of time on that. One of the things we are going to allow everyone who's joined this session to do is, if you would like to see a demo of what MessageBird can do for you and your business, please get in touch with the teams on this QR code. They will be able to set up a really quick solution or a really quick demo of our platform and allow you to understand just how easy it is to get started. Well, I think we'll end it there. I just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time. I really appreciate the effort from our panelists. And thank you guys all for giving us an hour of your life. But yeah, thanks a lot and have a great Thursday.